He built a city from a swamp and filled it with ghosts. He dragged a medieval empire into the future, kicking, screaming, and bleeding. To the West, he was a visionary. To Russia, a storm. They called him Peter the Great, but greatness always has a price. Russia in the mid-1600s was not a nation, it was a wound. A land ruled by superstition, isolation, and fear. And into that chaos was born a boy named Pyotr Alexeyevich Romanov. He watched his family torn apart by court intrigue, his half-brother crowned as Tsar, his mother forced into exile. Assassins filled the corridors. Blood stained the cradle of his youth. When the Streltsy, the royal guards, revolted, Peter hid as soldiers butchered his allies. The boy never forgot the screams. From that moment, he swore one thing: Russia would obey or Russia would burn. While others clung to religion and ritual, Peter looked west. He studied ships, maps, tools, the engines of European power. In secret, he built model navies on Moscow's lakes. He dressed as a commoner, worked alongside carpenters, learned to forge, to sail, to kill. And when he came of age, he did what no Russian ruler had ever done. He left his throne and traveled across Europe in disguise. In Dutch shipyards, he learned navigation and design. In England, anatomy and politics. He returned not as a student, but as an architect. His vision: to rip Russia from its medieval skin and remake it in the image of the West. What followed was not reform, it was transformation by force. Peter ordered his nobles to shave their beards, ancient symbols of faith and tradition, and taxed those who refused. He replaced robes with European uniforms. He built an army of modern steel and a navy from forests and bone. He built new schools, new factories, new laws, but every step forward left a trail of corpses behind. His soldiers crushed rebellions with fire. His laborers died by the thousands digging canals and shipyards. And in 1703, he began his greatest obsession, a city that would open Russia to the world. St. Petersburg. He built it on a swamp, with no mercy for those who built it. Tens of thousands of peasants died in the mud, their bodies buried beneath its shining palaces. The jewel of the empire laid upon a graveyard. Power became Peter's faith, and faith, in time, became paranoia. His son Alexei, gentle and devout, rejected his father's violent vision. He fled abroad, seeking peace. But to Peter, that was treason. When Alexei returned, Peter had him arrested, tortured, and finally condemned to death. A father who killed his own son, not in rage, but in calculation. When Alexei died in prison, Peter stood over his body and whispered, "Now I have no heir, only an empire." When Peter died in 1725, he left behind a transformed Russia, ships on the Baltic, a modern army, a new capital shining with marble and ambition. He turned a backward kingdom into an empire and himself into a god of progress. But beneath the marble of St. Petersburg, bones still whisper. Every stone tells the story of those who drowned in his dream. He opened Russia's window to the West, but in doing so, he sealed its future behind glass. Brilliant, cold, and unbreakable, Peter the Great. A man who built his empire as one builds a ship, with vision, steel, and the blood of those who rode beneath him. Empires rise, empires fall, but the hands that build them are never remembered. Only the shadows of their work remain, carved into stone, buried beneath water, waiting for the next ruler to mistake power for greatness. And so history turns again.